Welcome back to Podcast and Chill. I'm your host, Leo, who loves to chill, and joining me is my calm and wise co host, Gwen.
Oh, come on, Leo. I'm not as great as you think I am.
No, Gwen, I'm just saying the facts.
Anyway, hello, everyone. Hope all of you are doing well.
Okay, Gwen, but before we begin the podcast, I want to ask you a question.
Sure, go ahead.
You said to me earlier that you are not great as I think you are, right?
Yep.
So, do you sometimes feel like you are not good enough?
Wow, that's a good question, Leo. I do sometimes. Life can feel stressful, and all I worry is about falling behind others.
I see. I think everyone feels that way at some point. It's normal to question ourselves sometimes. I had those moments too.
Really?
Yes, many people feel the same way. Seeing other people's achievements makes them insecure. As a result, they keep wondering if they're good enough, and comparison starts.
I see. After all, I don't think it's a big deal. Our worth is so much greater than insecurities and comparisons.
That's right, Gwen. And today, we'll talk about why we feel like we're not good enough and how to handle it. So sit back, relax, and enjoy our episode today.
We've also made a free PDF with tips and vocabulary to help you on your English learning journey. Now, let's get started. So, Leo, have you ever wondered why you feel this way?
Well, I think a big part of it comes from comparison. We see people on social media living perfect lives, and it's hard not to feel less than. Sometimes it's the pressure from our society. We are often told to look or act a certain way or achieve big things. As a result, we feel pressured to constantly follow high standards.
For me, social media really messes with my head. One minute I'm scrolling, seeing someone's dream vacation or amazing career news, and the next I'm thinking, what am I even doing with my life?
I get that. Social media shows only the highlights, not the struggles. The filtered version of someone else's life.
Right? I mean, everyone rarely posts about their bad days or their mistakes. For me, growing up, it wasn't even social media. It was seeing people at school who seemed to have everything: looks, good grades, a lot of friends. Because of that, I kept comparing myself to them, thinking I would never measure up to them.
I see. But after all, I understood that no one feels good enough all the time. Even the people who seem confident have moments of doubt.
So, how do you know if you or someone else feels like they're not good enough?
Let's start with the inner signs, the things we feel but might not share. One big thing here is self-doubt. It's that little voice in your head saying, "You're not smart enough," or "You'll never be good at this." Another thing is the need to stay perfect all the time.
I read that an expert from the British Association for Counseling and Psychotherapy said people who feel not good enough often pretend they're fine, even when they're struggling in relationships, family, or work. Is there another sign?
It's seeking approval from others. You might find yourself asking, "Was that okay?" after every little thing, just to hear someone say you did well. And this feeling often shows up on the outside too. For example, some people avoid challenges because they're scared of failing. I noticed I did this when I'm feeling insecure, like I'm trying to make myself smaller so I don't upset anyone.
I think the last sign is people pleasing. Saying yes to things you don't want to do because you're scared that people will think less of you. If you see these signs in yourself, just know that it's totally okay. You're not alone, and there are ways to work through it.
And if you see these signs in someone else, show them kindness.
Let's take a look at 5 key phrases from today's discussion. Follow high standards. To do things in a way that is excellent or very good. Example: a good student follows high standards by studying hard and doing their homework.
Filtered. Something has been changed or edited, often to make it look or sound better. Example: photos on social media are often filtered to look perfect. Or, the news article was filtered to remove unwanted information.
Measure up. To be good enough or equal to something. Example: Is your new phone measuring up to your old one?
Pretend to act like something is true, even if it's not real. Example, let's pretend we're superheroes and save the day.
Seek approval from. To ask someone if they like what you're doing or if you're doing it right. Example. Don't just seek approval from everyone. Do what you think is right.
Now, let's discuss something more important. It's understanding that our worth isn't about what we achieve.
Yes, this took me so long to figure out. I used to think, if I win that award or gain more money, I'll finally feel enough. But guess what? When I got those things, I wasn't satisfied at all. The feeling just didn't stick around.
That's because true self-worth doesn't come from what we achieve or how others see us. It actually comes from inside ourselves.
It's about recognizing your own true value. Things like your kindness, strengths, and the little things that make us unique.
Exactly. Sometimes we chase things just to prove we're good enough to the world. But let's take a short moment and look inside yourself. You yourself are a treasure already. You just don't know how valuable and worthy you are.
Wow, that are such deep words, Leo. You don't usually speak like this.
I know. Surprised, huh? I just like to act silly to make people laugh.
Okay, now can you think of something about yourself that makes you proud, but isn't about achievement or success?
I'd say my sense of humor. I love making people laugh. It really feels amazing when I can make someone smile, especially if they've been having a tough day. Seeing my friends smile because of something I said is the best feeling. What about you, Gwen? What makes you feel proud?
For me, it's my ability to listen. I think listening is such an amazing gift. People often tell me they feel seen and understood when we talk, and that means so much to me. It's not about fixing their problems, it's just being there for them.
See? That's what I like about you, Gwen. It's not about your achievements, it's how you make people feel. You make them feel heard and valued, and that's so powerful.
Thanks, Leo. I appreciate that. And I feel the same way about you. And what about our listeners? I'm sure each of you has your own gift to share with the world.
Don't think about your insecurities. Just take some time to slow down and reflect.
When you feel like you are ready, just tell us in the comments. I truly believe that once you start seeing your strength, you will stop comparing yourself to others.
Wise words, Gwen. Once we start believing in our ability, there are a lot of ways to remind ourselves of our value. One of them is recognizing little achievements. It's not about the things you achieve because you want to compete with others. It's about valuing what makes you proud of yourself.
Exactly. We often focus so much on big goals that we forget the small steps we've taken. Maybe you cleaned your space today, helped a friend, or even just got out of bed when you didn't feel like it. I used to think only big achievements mattered, but I've learned that every little step counts. For example, last week I finally organized my closet. It's not world-changing, but it felt so satisfying once completed.
That's a great example. And remember, learning and growth take time. No one starts out perfect. Think about learning to ride a bike. How many times did you fall before you got it right?
Right. Here is a quote I got from my experience. Failure isn't the end, it's part of the journey. Every mistake teaches us something. You're growing every day, even when it doesn't feel like it.
So, celebrate the little things and be patient with yourself. You're doing better than you think. Let's move on with some useful phrases of today's podcast. Figure out, to understand or solve something. Example, I couldn't figure out how to use the machine, so I asked a friend for help.
Sense of humor. The ability to make things seem funny. Example, my friend has a great sense of humor. He always makes me laugh.
Feel seen and understood. To feel like someone understands your feelings and experiences. Example, when I talked to my therapist, I felt seen and understood for the first time.
Compete with. To try to be better than someone else. Example, many students compete with each other to get the highest grades.
Every little step counts. This means that even small actions can make a big difference. Example, every little step counts when you're following your passion.
Now let's ask our listeners a few questions.
First question, when was the last time you felt proud of yourself? Think of a moment when you did something kind, tried something new, or pushed through a challenge. That feeling of pride is a reminder of your strength and value.
Now, for the second question. How can you be kinder to yourself today? Maybe it's taking a break, thanking yourself for trying, or simply saying, I'm enough.
Yeah, I feel like lots of people these days don't even know how to do that.
Then, let's all learn to do this for the better.
What are your thoughts on the questions? Share your answers in the comments below. We've had a great talk today, Gwen.
Yeah, and I'm surprised at how wise you are. I always thought of you as the funny guy who loves jokes.
I know, Gwen. Glad you see this side of me. I can do a lot, especially for our dear listeners.
That's so sweet of you, Leo.
You deserve to be valued also, Gwen. Your calmness and wisdom make you so reliable.
Thank you.
What do you think about today's topic? Let us know your thoughts and experiences in the comments, as we'd love to hear from you.
Thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode. Goodbye, and see you next time.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Podcast and Chill on the Learn English Podcast channel.
Thanks for tuning in again. We love having you here with us.
You know, Gwen, one thing I've noticed is how much our audience loves topics about developing their thinking skills.
That's true, Leo. It makes sense. They're probably looking for ways to improve their English learning process.
Absolutely. Speaking of improving, Gwen, have you ever heard about growth mindset and fixed mindset?
Of course, Leo. A growth mindset is all about believing that your abilities can grow with effort and learning, while a fixed mindset assumes your abilities are set in stone.
Oh, so like, if I believe I can be the next big comedian by practicing every day, that's a growth mindset?
Well, let's not get carried away, Leo. But yes, it's about believing in improvement.
Great. Because today's topic is all about how adopting a growth mindset can help you in your language learning journey and beyond.
That's right. Stick around and we'll break it all down. And don't forget, we've created a free PDF with tips and tricks. Check it out in the description or comments below.
So, Gwen, growth mindset, it sounds fancy, but what is it really?
Well, Leo, it's the belief that your abilities, intelligence, and skills can improve through hard work, learning, and persistence.
So it's like saying, I'm not good at this yet.
Exactly. It's about focusing on progress, not perfection. People with a growth mindset see mistakes as stepping stones, not roadblocks.
That's refreshing. So, if I mess up my English grammar, it's not the end of the world?
Not at all. It's just a chance to learn and get better. In fact, studies by Stanford professor Carol Dweck show that embracing challenges helps you grow stronger mentally.
Oh, I've heard about her work. She talks about how kids who believe they can improve do better in school, right?
Exactly. And it's not just kids. This works for adults, too. It's like the phrase, you're never too old to learn.
I like that. But how do I actually develop this magical mindset?
Start by seeing challenges as opportunities. For example, if you find English pronunciation difficult, think of it as a fun puzzle to solve.
Oh, like trying to say rural without twisting my tongue?
Exactly. And don't shy away from mistakes. Remember, every mistake is proof that you're trying.
That's comforting. But sometimes, failure feels so personal. Like, what if I'm just not good at something?
That's where you reframe your thinking. Instead of saying, I can't do this, ask, what can I do to get better?
I like that perspective. So, effort plays a big role here?
Absolutely. Think of effort like watering a plant. Without it, nothing grows.
And what about persistence? How does that fit in?
Persistence is key. It's like climbing a mountain. Slow and steady wins the race. You keep going, one step at a time, even when it's hard.
So, no shortcuts then?
Not if you want real growth. Shortcuts might give you quick results, but they don't build the long-term skills or resilience you need.
But isn't it tempting to take the easy way out?
Of course it is. But think about it this way. When you take a shortcut, you miss out on valuable lessons along the way.
So, the journey is just as important as the destination?
Exactly. Imagine learning English just by memorizing words for a test. You might pass the test, but will you be able to have a real conversation?
I get it now. It's like building a house without a strong foundation. It might look good for a while, but it won't last.
That's a great analogy, Leo. Growth mindset is about taking the time to build that strong foundation.
And what about patience? Do you think it's connected to this whole no shortcuts idea?
Definitely. Patience teaches you to value the effort you're putting in. It's like planting a tree. You water it every day, but it takes time to grow and bear fruit.
Oh, I like that image. So every time I make a mistake, it's like watering my tree a little more?
Exactly. Mistakes are part of growth. They show you're trying, and trying is the first step to improving.
And when I finally see the fruit, it'll taste even sweeter because I've worked for it.
That's the mindset. Growth isn't about perfection, it's about progress.
Got it. From now on, no shortcuts for me. I'll water my tree every day, even if it takes time.
And trust me, Leo, it'll be worth it.
Let's take a closer look at 5 useful phrases from today's conversation. 1. Growth mindset. A belief that abilities and skills can improve through effort and learning. Example. A growth mindset helps you see mistakes as lessons instead of failures.
2. Face the music. To confront a difficult situation rather than avoiding it. Example. Instead of avoiding challenges, it's better to face the music and grow from them.
3. A stepping stone. A step or stage that helps you move closer to your goal. Example. Every small success is a stepping stone toward greater achievements.
4. Break the mold. To do something differently and move away from traditional ways. Example. Adopting a growth mindset means breaking the mold of thinking you're just not good enough.
5. Go the extra mile. To make extra effort to achieve something. Example. People with a growth mindset are willing to go the extra mile to improve themselves. Now let's dive into some discussion questions. Question 1. What's one challenge you faced recently, and how did you overcome it?
For me, I tried learning a new skill, but it was frustrating at first. Then I reminded myself that it's all part of the process.
That's a great example, Gwen. It's inspiring to hear how you stayed motivated.
Question 2. How can we apply a growth mindset in learning English?
I think the key is to focus on progress, not perfection. Celebrate small wins, like mastering a new word or phrase.
Absolutely. And don't be afraid to make mistakes. They're stepping stones to improvement.
What about you, listeners? How do you approach challenges in learning? Let us know in the comments. So, Gwen, we've talked about growth mindset and overcoming challenges. What's next?
Let's talk about feedback.
Oh, feedback. You mean like when I tell a joke and you say it's not funny?
Well, not quite. Feedback is a tool to improve, not just criticism.
I guess that depends on how you take it, right?
That's the key. A growth mindset helps us see feedback as an opportunity to grow, not a personal attack.
That makes sense. So, how can we take feedback positively?
Start by asking yourself, what can I learn from this? Instead of thinking, they're being mean, think, how can this help me improve?
I like that. It's like turning lemons into lemonade.
That's right. Another thing to keep in mind is surrounding yourself with positivity.
You mean like hanging out with people who lift you up?
Yes, whether it's friends, colleagues, or a community, being around people who encourage a growth mindset can make a huge difference.
Oh, so it's like planting yourself in good soil to grow.
Good comparison, Leo.
Okay, but what about practical steps? How do we actually build a growth mindset?
Start by trying something new every month. It could be learning a skill, trying a recipe, or even taking on a small project at work.
That sounds fun. What else?
Ask more questions instead of making negative statements. Instead of saying, I'm not good at this, ask, how can I get better at this?
I like that. It's like flipping the script in your head.
That's the idea. Finally, keep a journal of what you learn each day.
That's great advice, Gwen. I feel like asking questions instead of focusing on what we can't do helps a lot.
Yeah, Leo. It's all about shifting your perspective. For example, instead of saying, I can't understand this grammar, you could ask, what steps can I take to learn it better?
Oh, like turning a wall into a door. That's powerful.
Exactly. It's about seeing challenges as opportunities.
What about when things don't work out, though? Like, you try something new and fail. That can be discouraging.
That's a big part of a growth mindset, Leo. Instead of seeing failure as the end, you can view it as feedback.
So, it's like a roadmap. Failure shows you where to take a better route.
For instance, if you try to speak English and make mistakes, that's not failure. It's a sign of progress.
Hmm, I guess every mistake is like a stepping stone.
That's a great way to think about it. Let's talk more about creating a supportive environment.
You mean surrounding yourself with people who inspire you?
Exactly. Think about it. If you're around people who encourage you, you're more likely to keep going even when things get tough.
So it's like having a cheering squad for your goals.
Yes, and it's also important to be that kind of person for others.
Like a positivity ripple effect.
That's right. The more positive energy you put out, the more you'll get back.
And what about those practical steps we mentioned earlier? Let's expand on that.
Sure. Here's a simple example. If you're learning a language, set a goal to learn 5 new words a day. It's small, but adds up over time.
That's manageable. What else?
Another idea is to track your progress. Write down what you learn each day. It helps you see how far you've come.
Oh, so it's like giving yourself a high five in writing.
Yes, these small steps can make a big difference over time.
Listeners, what small steps have helped you grow? Let us know in the comments. Let's pick 5 phrases from today's discussion that can inspire us. 1. Build from the ground up. To start something from the very beginning and develop it step by step. Example: she built her language skills from the ground up by practicing daily.
2. Learn through trial and error. To improve by trying different methods and learning from mistakes. Example: he learned to cook through trial and error, testing different recipes until he got it right.
3. Take ownership. To accept responsibility for your actions and focus on making progress. Example: taking ownership of her studies helped her improve her grades significantly.
4. Keep pushing forward. To continue making progress even when things are difficult. Example: despite the challenges, he kept pushing forward and achieved his goals.
5. Shift your perspective. To change the way you view a situation to find new opportunities or solutions. Example: she shifted her perspective and saw challenges as opportunities to grow. Let's start with a question, Gwen. How do you personally step out of your comfort zone?
I'd say I challenge myself by trying something unfamiliar, like speaking in front of a crowd. It's nerve-wracking but rewarding.
Wow, that sounds brave. For me, I try smaller things, like learning to bake a new cake. It's less scary, but still makes me step out a little.
That's a great start. Taking small steps is still growth. Okay, here's another one for you, Leo. What's one failure you've experienced, and how did you turn it around?
I remember burning my first attempt at making bread, but instead of giving up, I tried again the next day. The second loaf was pretty good.
That's a fun example. It shows persistence really pays off.
And you, Gwen? How do you handle failure?
I try to reflect on what went wrong and learn from it. Like when I didn't do well in a presentation, I practiced more and asked for feedback. It made all the difference.
That's inspiring. What about you, audience? How do you overcome challenges or failure? Let us know in the comments below. That wraps up today's episode about building a growth mindset.
We hope you feel inspired to embrace challenges, learn from feedback, and keep pushing forward.
And remember, even small steps can lead to big changes.
Don't forget to check out the free PDF in the description for tips and exercises to help you practice today's topic.
Also, let us know in the comments. What's one step you'll take to develop your growth mindset starting today?
We'd love to hear your thoughts and experiences.
Thank you for joining us on Podcast and Chill, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Take care, keep learning, and keep growing.
Bye for now. Hey Gwen, did you see the video I sent you last night? The one with the puppy stuck in a tiny box.
You mean the one where it tries to wiggle out for 5 minutes and then just gives up? I laughed so hard I almost cried.
Me too, it was so hilarious. Speaking of crying, do you remember the last time you cried for real? Not over a funny video.
I do actually. It was a few weeks ago while watching a reunion clip. You know, the soldier returning home to surprise his family.
Oh, that gets me every time. But wait a minute, Gwen. Isn't crying kind of a sign of weakness? You know, like people always say?
Good question. Is it really? Let's dive into that today. Welcome to today's episode of Podcast and Chill on the Learn English podcast channel. I'm Gwen.
And I'm Leo. Today we're discussing a very popular topic nowadays. Stop crying. Crying is losing. Are tears really something to be ashamed of, or do they tell a deeper story? Let's find out.
Oh, and here's a little reminder for our listeners. In today's episode, we've prepared a free PDF with tips and to help you on your journey. Now let's get into it.
All right, Gwen. Let's start with the basics. Why do we cry in the first place?
Great question, Leo. Crying is actually the body's natural reaction to strong emotions. It's like our brain's way of saying, "This is too much, let's release some pressure."
Like letting steam out of a kettle?
Exactly. And crying isn't just about being sad. We cry when we're really happy, like at weddings or when we receive good news. We cry when we're in pain or even when we're super stressed. Crying can happen when we feel anything strongly.
But still, people often say, stop crying, be strong. Why do you think that is?
Good point. That brings us to our second idea. Is crying really a sign of weakness? What do you think, Leo?
I'd say a lot of it comes from society, especially for men. We're taught from a young age that crying makes you look weak or less manly.
Yes, exactly. It's such a harmful message, though. Think about it. If you're crying, it's because you're brave enough to face your feelings, not run away from them. You're not trying to hide from your emotions.
You're right. It takes a lot of courage to say, I'm feeling really stressed right now.
And if we keep those feelings all locked inside us, they can grow bigger. They might cause more problems later on. It's like trying to hold in a balloon that's getting bigger and bigger. Finally, it's going to pop. Letting those feelings out, even if it's through crying, can help us feel better. It also makes it easier to deal with things.
Crying is like letting air out of that balloon. It feels much better and doesn't explode.
Absolutely. So, listeners, next time someone tells you to stop crying, think about this. Tears don't make you weak. They make you human. They show that you care deeply and that you're alive.
Love that, Gwen. All right, we've talked about why people cry and whether it's seen as weak. Let's go in a different direction. What about the benefits of crying? Does crying actually help us?
Absolutely, Leo. Crying has some surprising benefits. First, let's talk about stress relief. It's when our body says, let's flush this out and feel lighter.
That makes sense. I've definitely felt better after a good cry, like a weight is lifted. What else?
Another benefit is improved mood. Crying can bring a sense of relief, almost like resetting your emotions. You know that feeling when the tears stop and suddenly everything feels a bit clearer?
Totally. It's like the storm passes and there's calmness afterward. But what about the social side of crying? Isn't it kind of awkward to cry in front of others?
It can feel that way, but actually, crying helps with social bonding. When you cry in front of someone who listens and cares, it builds trust and connection. It's a way of saying, hey, I'm being real with you.
Wow. So crying isn't just about you, it's also about strengthening relationships.
Exactly, Leo. So, listeners, the next time you feel tears coming, remember this: crying helps your body, your mind, and even your connections with others. It's not a sign of losing, it's a step toward healing.
Well said, Gwen. Crying is more than just an emotional response. It's a powerful tool for relief and connection. Let's all embrace it more often. All right. Now let's bring out some useful phrases in today's episode for our listeners. Weakness, a lack of strength or power, a fault or flaw. Example, he believed that expressing his emotions was a sign of weakness and tried to hold them inside.
Release pressure, to let out stress or tension that are locked inside. Example, after a hard day, talking to a friend helps me release pressure and feel calm.
Social bonding, connecting and building a good relationship with others. Example, being honest with friends is a great way to create social bonding.
Build trust, to create strong belief or confidence in someone. Example, when you keep your promises, you build trust with your friends.
Strengthening relationships, making relationships stronger and better. Example, spending time with family during holidays is important for strengthening relationships.
Here are some useful questions for our listeners. Question 1. Why do we cry when we feel strong emotions? Crying helps release strong feelings like stress, pain, or even happiness. It's the body's way of saying, let's let it out.
Question 2. How can crying help build better relationships? Crying can bring people closer together. When you cry in front of someone who listens and cares, it helps build trust and connection. Gwen, we've talked about why people cry and the benefits it can bring. But here's something to think about. Can crying actually show strength?
Absolutely, Leo. Many people think crying is weak, but in reality, it's the opposite. It takes courage to let others see your emotions and say, this is how I feel.
That's true. It's not easy to be that open, especially when society often tells us to hide our feelings.
For example, some famous leaders and celebrities have shown their strength through tears. New Zealand Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern has been seen crying in public while mentioning tragedies in her country, like the Christchurch mosque attacks. Her tears showed her empathy and made people feel she truly cared.
And remember when athletes cry after winning a big game or losing one? It shows they truly care about what they do. Their tears inspire others to care too.
Yes, crying isn't a weakness. It's a way to connect with others and show you're human.
But Gwen, can there be a time when crying becomes too much?
That's a great question, Leo. Crying is natural and healthy, but if someone is crying very often or for no clear reason, it could mean something deeper is going on.
Like what?
It might be a sign of depression or anxiety. These are struggles that can make people feel upset, sad, or stressed all the time. And sometimes they cry because they don't know how else to cope with those feelings. So, it's more than just feeling sad for a day or two.
Exactly.
If someone finds it hard to stop crying or manage their emotions, they should talk to someone they trust. This could be a friend, a family member, or even a counselor.
That makes sense. It's like asking for help when your car isn't working right. Sometimes you just need a mechanic for your emotions.
Perfect example, Leo. Now let's talk about how to support someone who's crying. What do you usually do if a friend starts crying?
Hmm, I think I'd tell them, don't cry. It'll be okay.
That's kind, but there's a better way to help. First, sit with them and listen. Don't rush to judge or fix things right away. Just let them talk if they want to.
So just being there can make a big difference?
Absolutely. Then offer comfort, maybe a kind word or a hug if they're okay with it. And instead of guessing what they need, ask them. You could say, how can I help you right now?
That sounds simple but powerful. Just showing you care means so much.
Exactly. So, listeners, remember, Crying is a part of being human. But if it feels like too much, don't hesitate to ask for help. And if someone you care about is crying, be there for them with kindness and patience.
Well said, Gwen. A little empathy can go a long way. Let's all practice that in our own lives. Let's review some useful phrases in today's episode. Hide your feelings. To not show how you feel to others. Molly doesn't want her friends to worry, so she hides her feelings and smiled.
Cope with. To deal with something difficult. After losing his job, my brother found it hard to cope with the stress.
Reach out to someone to ask for help or support. If you ever feel lonely, don't be afraid to reach out to someone you trust.
Rush to judge. To quickly form an opinion without thinking carefully. Before knowing the whole story, Lily rushed to judge her sister unfairly.
Talk it out. To express thoughts or feelings by talking about them. Example: sometimes you just need to talk it out to feel better. Now let's move on to some questions to help you understand today's topic. Question 1. Why do some people think crying shows strength? Crying shows strength because you must be brave enough to express your emotions and be open with others, even when society tells us to hide our feelings.
Question 2. What should you do if a friend starts crying? In my opinion, I would sit with them, listen, and offer comfort. I would ask them, "How can I help you right now?" to show you care. We'd love to hear your thoughts on these questions, so feel free to share them with us in the comments.
All right, that's it for today's episode of Podcast and Chill. Keep it in mind that crying is not a failure. It's just your body and mind healing. It's okay to feel and let your tears flow.
Embrace your emotions and know that crying is a natural part of being human. If you ever need to cry, don't hold back. It's a way to feel better.
Thank you so much for listening. We believe in you, and we'll see you in the next episode of Podcast and Chill.
Keep being kind to yourself and take care.
Welcome back to Podcast and Chill, everyone. I'm Leo.
And I'm Gwen.
Today, we won't chill, though.
What? What do you mean, Leo?
Well, because today we're diving into something juicy.
What's that?
Stop being a victim. I mean, it's always someone else's fault, right?
Ah, yes, Leo. Because blaming the weather for your burnt toast is totally normal.
Hey, that toaster had it out for me. But seriously, victim mentality, it's sneaky, relatable, and let's face it, we've all been there.
I know, right? But staying in that mindset? Not a good idea. We'll break it down.
Why it happens, the signs, and how to kick it to the curb.
No more fooling around. Let's get into it.
Gwen, let's kick this off. What even is a victim mentality?
A victim mentality is when you believe everything bad that happens to you is out of your control.
Like the world is conspiring against you?
It's kind of like that.
That sounds bad. But to be honest, this happens to everyone, even us.
Of course. Anyone can fall into it, especially after a tough experience like losing a job, a breakup, you name it.
So, what's the problem with it?
The problem is when you let it define you.
Why is it problematic, though?
While it might feel that way sometimes, staying in that mindset can hold you back.
When will this mindset be serious?
It's when it becomes your default way of thinking.
So, it's less about what happens and more about how you react?
You're right. The key is not to let it take over. You've got to pick yourself up and figure out what you can control.
I get it. But how do you know if you're stuck in a victim mindset?
Let me spell it out for you. First, people with a victim mindset tend to always blame someone else. "It's not my fault," becomes their go-to line.
Like when I blamed my neighbor for my Wi-Fi being slow?
Leo, I'm sure your neighbor wasn't stealing your bandwidth.
Fair enough.
Another sign is feeling completely powerless, like there's nothing you can do to change your situation.
Oh, like throwing your hands up and saying, "It is what it is," instead of trying to fix it?
Yep. And here's another big one.
What's that big one?
It's constantly comparing yourself to others and feeling like you drew the short straw in life.
That media trap. Scrolling through Instagram and thinking, why does everyone else have it together?
Yes, it's exhausting and keeps you stuck in a negative loop.
I get it.
The thing is, these signs are red flags, telling you it's time to shift gears.
So, folks, if you see these signs in you, it's time to snap out of it.
To do that, I think we should tackle the root of the problem.
You're right. Why do people end up in the victim role? I mean, it's not exactly a place you'd want to stay, right?
True, but sometimes it feels easier to stay there.
Care to elaborate on that?
Past trauma or failures can really mess with how you see things,
Really?
scientifically proved. A study by Martin Seligman shows that when people feel powerless for too long, they just stop trying to change things.
Too bad.
And it's not just about giving up.
There are more?
Well, another study by Enns, Sank, and Kaplan talks about how society sometimes rewards victimhood.
Seriously? How does that even work?
Usually, victims might get sympathy, support, or even financial help, and that can unintentionally make them hold on to that victim identity.
So they take advantage of the situation in a bad way.
Pretty much. What's worse is the victims might start seeing life through a victim lens. They start looking for situations that prove their point and ignoring the good stuff.
But it won't be beneficial for them in the long run.
Certainly, the victim mindset does come with a lot of damage.
It's time for some new words and phrases. First, fall into something. It means to start doing something by chance or without planning. For example, he fell into the role of manager after the previous one left unexpectedly.
Second, hold somebody back. It means to stop someone from making progress or achieving something. For example, her fear of failure is holding her back from pursuing her dreams.
Third, pick oneself up. It means to recover from a setback or difficult situation. For example, after losing the game, the team quickly picked themselves up and focused on the next match.
Fourth, draw the short straw. It means to be given the least desirable task or situation. For example, I had to draw the short straw and clean up after the party.
Finally, hold on to something. It means to keep something tightly or to keep believing in something. For example, hold on to your dreams and never give up on them.
Now let's discuss two questions about our topic. The first question is, why do you think people fall into a victim mentality?
I think it happens when past trauma or failures make people feel powerless and they just stop trying to change things.
That's an insightful point. Second question, how can someone break free from the victim mentality?
They should focus on what they can control and stop comparing themselves to others.
What do you think, listeners?
Let us know in the comments below. What are some real damages when someone's stuck in this loop?
A victim mindset doesn't just hold you back. It affects everything. Your relationships, your goals, even your health.
That sounds exhausting. How does it mess with relationships?
Well, think about it. If someone's always blaming others or acting helpless, it gets frustrating for the people around them.
Totally valid. If I were their friend, I would start pulling away.
Yeah, let's say they're basically the person who rains on their own parade.
Any other harms?
It also holds you back from growing.
How?
If you were stuck in the mindset of nothing I do matters, would you want to take risks or try new things?
I guess. No?
That's it. And that's why the victim mindset limits your potential big time.
I wouldn't wish that on anyone.
But the good news, once you drop that mindset, the weight lifts and things start to click into place.
Yeah, let's get real. How do we break free from this victim mindset?
It's not like we can just snap our fingers and fix it.
I don't expect it to be that easy.
The first step is realizing you can change.
Can you be more specific?
Well, one can start paying attention to those thoughts like, this is out of my control, or it's always someone else's fault.
And then?
and then ask yourself what you can do about it.
I'm not sure I get how that works.
A study by Judge and Bono showed that people who believe they can control their own lives are way more likely to take charge and overcome obstacles.
So, it's like taking the wheel of your own life instead of letting it drift?
Nice metaphor. And start small. Tiny changes can lead to big shifts in how you think and act.
I get the whole taking control thing, but what if things don't go perfectly?
What do you mean?
I mean, it's hard not to blame anyone for some setbacks. I might even blame myself.
That's where gratitude really helps.
How does that help?
Even on those tough days, try to find something small to appreciate, like a good cup of coffee or a nice walk. It could be anything, really.
And where is the magic?
Focusing on the little positives can help you feel better and reset your mindset.
So, even if everything's falling apart, I should still look for something to be thankful for?
It might sound cheesy, but it really works.
Okay. I guess I will have to try that out.
You should also try to take full responsibility for your life.
That would be hard, especially when one's already deep in the victim mindset.
I know, but now that we're well aware of how things are, let's fight against the urge to blame.
And guys, remember that things take time. Don't rush into it.
You're right. Don't beat yourself up if you still blame somebody or yourself for your mistakes.
As long as you know you have the victim mindset and want to snap out of it, you'll be fine. Let's break down some more vocabulary. First, rain on one's parade. It means to spoil someone's plans or happiness. For example, I didn't mean to rain on your parade, but the concert is canceled.
Second, click into place. It means that something starts to make sense or work perfectly. For example, after weeks of practice, everything finally clicked into place during the performance.
Third, break free from something. It means to escape or gain freedom from something holding you back. For example, she worked hard to break free from her bad habits.
Fourth, fall apart. It means to stop working or become emotionally or physically broken. For example, their plan fell apart when they ran out of funding.
Finally, snap out of it. It means to quickly recover from a negative emotion or mindset. For example, you've been feeling down all day. Snap out of it and let's do something fun.
Now let's discuss two questions about our topic. The first question is, how can the victim mindset harm relationships?
It pushes people away because constantly blaming others or acting helpless can be frustrating for those around you.
Fair enough. The second question is, what's one small step someone can take to break free from the victim mindset?
One can start by recognizing thoughts like, "It's not my fault," and ask, "What can I do about this situation?"
And you, listeners, what are your thoughts?
Drop your answers in the comments below. All right, Gwen, we've covered a lot today. But before we wrap up, what's the takeaway here?
The biggest takeaway is that you don't have to be a victim of your circumstances. You have the power to change your story.
Yeah, it's easy to get stuck in that victim mentality, but the good news is we can break free from it.
We want to hear from you, listeners.
After hearing this episode, think about one thing you want to change in your life.
Maybe it's taking responsibility, practicing gratitude, or just making a small shift in how you view challenges.
And if you feel like sharing, let us know what positive change you've made or want to make.
You've got the power to rewrite your story, so go for it.
That's right. You're the author of your own life. Let's make it a good one. Hi, everyone, and welcome to today's podcast. I'm Nathan, your host, here to guide you through practical ideas that can transform the way you see life. Have you ever felt like no matter how much you achieve, it's never enough? Like you're always chasing something just out of reach? In today's episode, we'll explore this topic. We will hear a conversation between Holland, a successful businessman who feels unfulfilled, and Jimmy, a bakery owner who finds joy in his everyday life. What's their secret? And more importantly, How can you stop chasing and start feeling enough? Let's get started to find out right now. I can't wait.
Wow, Jimmy, it's been so long. I see you still run your little bakery. How's business?
Yeah, I still do. Business is good, but more importantly, life is good. I enjoy every moment of it.
That's great to hear. But don't you ever feel stuck? Like, don't you want more?
More? What do you mean?
You know, more money, a bigger shop, more success? I always feel like I need more to be truly happy.
Ah, I see. That's the difference between us, my friend. I believe in an abundant mindset. It means believing that opportunities, success, and happiness are unlimited. You don't have to chase more to feel enough.
But if you don't push for more, won't you fall behind?
Not at all. An abundant mindset isn't about being lazy or giving up on success. It's about knowing that happiness and success aren't limited resources. There's enough for everyone.
I don't know. I feel like if I don't keep pushing, someone else will take what's mine.
That's a scarcity mindset, Holland. It makes you feel like there's never enough time, money, or opportunities.
But that's reality, isn't it? If I don't work harder, I lose.
Not necessarily. Think about it. Do you ever feel truly satisfied?
Not really. Even when I reach my goals, I just set new ones. I always feel like I'm running but never arriving.
That's exactly the problem. I think here are some signs of a scarcity mindset. Firstly, you always worry about losing what you have. Moreover, you feel jealous when someone else succeeds. Finally, you focus on what you don't have instead of appreciating what you do.
It seems right to me. That sounds exhausting.
It is, but the good news is you can change it.
So what happens if I start thinking abundantly?
A lot of things. You begin to see opportunities instead of limits. Also, you focus on solutions instead of problems. In addition, you can build positive relationships instead of competition.
Sounds nice, but is it practical?
Absolutely. Take my bakery, for example. When I started, I was afraid of competition, but instead of worrying, I built relationships with other bakers. We shared tips, supported each other, and guess what? We all thrived.
Oh, I never thought of it that way. But how can I start it?
Try with small steps. You can start with practicing gratitude. Write down 3 things you're grateful for every day. Even small things count.
All right, I'll try to do it every day. What's next?
It's sharing with others. Help a friend, mentor someone, or donate. Giving makes you feel richer. And the most important thing is, stop comparing yourself.
That sounds hard for me.
I know. This is difficult, especially for a perfectionist like you. But, you know, your journey is unique. Focus on your own growth.
I just worry about losing everything I've built.
That's normal, but holding on to fear keeps you stuck. You need to let go.
How?
Meditation, deep breathing, or even writing your thoughts down helps. When you let go of fear, you make space for new opportunities.
But what if someone else gets the success I want?
That's a common fear, but let me ask you, have you ever seen someone's success and felt jealous?
Yeah, all the time. It's hard not to compare.
I get it, but think of it this way. Success isn't a limited resource. Just because someone else wins doesn't mean you lose. Their success proves that it's possible, and that means you can do it too.
I never saw it that way, but it still feels tough.
Start small. Today, instead of feeling envious, try genuinely congratulating someone. Send a message, leave a comment, or just say, "Hey, I'm happy for you." Notice how it changes your mindset.
Really? That does sound easier than forcing myself to feel happy right away.
Exactly. The more you celebrate others, the more positive and open to opportunities you become.
You're right. I'll stop waiting for the perfect moment. It doesn't exist, right?
I couldn't agree more.
I like that. I'll start small, maybe with gratitude today.
That's the spirit. Small steps lead to big changes. You've got this.
Let's tune in to the questions session to understand the topic better. The first question: do you agree that success isn't a competition? Why or why not? I believe success isn't a competition. Everyone has their own journey, and success is not limited. Helping others and learning from them leads to growth. Instead of competing, focus on becoming the best version of yourself. The second question: how do you deal with competition in your daily life? I focus on self-improvement, instead of comparing myself to others. I see competition as motivation rather than a threat. Building good relationships and staying confident in my own path help me handle it positively. What about you? Please share what you learned from the podcast in the comments section below. I want to hear your thoughts. Let's learn some important vocabulary with me now. Firstly, we have run something. It is not running in a race. The meaning of it is to manage or operate a business. Jimmy runs a small bakery shop downtown. Let's move on to push for more. It is to keep striving for greater success or achievements. Holland is always pushing for more in his career. Next, we have fall behind. Its meaning is not to keep up with progress or competition. If we don't update our skills, we'll fall behind in the industry. What about limited resources? A fixed or restricted amount of something. Many companies struggle due to limited resources. Then we have the phrase scarcity mindset. It's the belief that there is never enough of something. Holland's scarcity mindset made him afraid to share his ideas. Great job. Please watch till the end to understand today's topic clearly. All right, let's play a little game before wrapping this episode. Close your eyes and imagine your dream life. Where are you? Maybe you're on a beach, feeling the warm sun, the soft sand under your feet. No stress, no deadlines, just peace. Sounds nice, right? Now, here's the big question. What's stopping you from living that life? Is it fear? Doubt? A belief that success is always just out of reach? Recognizing these thoughts is the first step to changing them. Finally, shift your mindset. Imagine yourself already succeeding. Feel the confidence, the joy, the ease. When you train your brain to believe it's possible, you start making choices that bring that vision to life. Ready to turn this visualization into action? It's your own game. And that's the end of today's episode. Remember, success and happiness aren't limited. They grow when you shift your mindset. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to follow for more inspiring talks. And hey, why not take a moment today to appreciate what you already have? Big changes start with small steps. Until next time, keep growing, keep believing, and most importantly, enjoy the journey.